Yo, and welcome to Tilos Radio. I'm Beata Pozitiva, and this is the Ice Cream Show with my special guest, Claudio Silvaggi. Hello, Claudio.
Hi, Beata. How are you doing, sister?
I'm good on this fine April spring day. We started off the show with a bit of reggae. Then we had a track called Ride, Captain Ride. Who was that by, Claudio?
Ride, Captain Ride. That would be, oh, geez, it's slipping my name right now. Hang on, it'll come to me just a moment. That would be Blues Image.
Okay, lovely track there. And before that one, of course, it was Sam and Dave, Hold On, I'm Coming. And that was a live version.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Really old track that's been covered quite a few times. And it always reminds me of the Blues Brothers. You know, it's got that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And then last, sorry?
No, it's an awesome song. It's timely for what's going on and currently, so it's beautiful.
Yes, and we'll talk a little bit, not even a little bit, we'll hear a lot about that in a bit. So if we're a little bit slow to start, it's because I am in Vienna, Claudio is in Florida, and of course the Tilos Radio studio is in Budapest. And this is the first time that I have done a show live via the internet. So, we're using Skype. Before this, we used another platform. So I hope you can all hear us clearly. And the message of the show today, Joy to the World. That was the last track we heard by Three Dog Night.
Yeah, awesome.
And I love that kind of 70s feeling. You know, I don't usually play music from the 70s so much. I usually play more hardcore, apart from, of course, reggae, which can also be very mellow. But I do like those old songs because they've got such a positive vibration.
Yeah, exactly. It's the vibe is beautiful. Yeah, you can really feel it. And it's a time of peace and love. Remember in the 70s?
Yeah, exactly. So we're trying to bring you a little bit of that feeling today, amidst all the chaos. Now, talking of Florida, maybe we should start with you telling the listeners and me a little bit about yourself, because you're originally from Canada, aren't you? So how did you end up in Florida?
Yeah, well, we're still from Canada, but just during this time when the whole world is in a state of confusion and which way is up, which way is down, we have our daughter here with our son-in-law and the 2 grandkids, so we wanted to stay close to them. So we opted to stay here for an extended length of time till this blows over.
Right. And how's it been in Florida? Because I think you've had much more of an easy time than lots of people, from if what we hear on the news is to be believed.
Right. Things are pretty much normal here in Florida. I mean, you'd be very much surprised. I mean, there's people that have concerns, obviously. Like certain things that put them in their lack of bravery mode, and no, we just live our life in normalcy.
So have you not had one command to stay at home after another? Because I think we're on the 4th one by now here in Vienna, and it looks like we have to wait till May. In Hungary, you've still got a 10 o'clock curfew. Here, it's theoretically 0 to 24 hours, but not many people are really taking it that seriously because everyone's fed up now. So,
there was no lockdowns. No, just at the beginning there was, that complete overwhelming cautionary type of environment, but that quickly went away here in Florida.
Was that
some of the more northern counties didn't do anything at all?
Right. And yeah, I remember hearing about South Dakota as well. Mm-hmm. And it seems that all the places that didn't take such strict draconian measures are actually the ones that are opening up first as well. You know, which is kind of ironic when you think of what the prophet mongers have been prophesying, kind of thing. Mm.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's to me, it's because of what's happening in the sky. It's a personal Armageddon, right? It's a personal choice thing. You know, do you believe in man or do you believe in spirit? So that's where people got to just do some inner work. So the spiritual implications of fasting, going within, slowing down, taking a look at yourself, does mirror what's happening. But except the reasons for it aren't as professed, or at least explained on why it should be happening. So people are missing out on a golden opportunity to sit back and reflect on why is this time happening, which all lines up with the age of Aquarius coming upon us, which is pretty hilarious.
Yes, I mean, the whole thing is surrounded by fear and fear porn. And when people are stuck in that panic, it's difficult for them to see beyond that, you know. And let me just remind the listeners, because some of you might have heard a couple of shows, which I've done over the past few months with Claudio. He is, in fact, an astrologer, but an astrologer with a difference, because he uses a system of astrology which isn't that well known. And it's called the denderah. And Claudio, would you like to tell me, how did you become interested in astrology? And then perhaps sum up the denderah in a nutshell so that people can understand the difference between the two systems which are used in astrology.
Okay. How did I become interested? It was really kind of unique, or not unique, but after my mom and dad both passed away, I would just look up to the sky and ask for signs, and one thing after another, I got more and more signs. Without getting into the detail of them, they're beautiful. I mean, anybody can get these signs. You just got to look. Nobody's more special than somebody else. And I knew I had to look. And then when I started learning about it, I realized that there is so much discrepancies. Like a Bible, there's thousands of settings for astrology. There's thousands of interpretations of the Bible. So that's how I got started in it. One beautiful night, I woke up in the middle of the night. I go outside, the moon's out there, cloud covered. I could see a little whiteness behind it. And all of a sudden the whole sky cleared and clouds went by, each one by one, in the shape of the zodiac sign. So that's when I knew I had to go for it. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. So researching, I got so many people to thank. Every one of the videos that we make, I think it's not one cannot do all this. It's not my work. It's our work. It's everybody's work. We stand on the shoulders of greats, past foremothers and forefathers. So learning and putting it all together, and then seeing the denderah zodiac, and then taking it, flipping it, rotating it, you can see that it totally aligns with the house system. So the battle between tropical and sidereal, in other words, what's in the sky and what's in the seasons, is very much depicted by the denderah. So the birth of the earth is the denderah zodiac, and when it lines up, the two systems line up. And then as the procession goes and you change the age, remember with the big Y2K thing, they missed the age mark, because that actually age mark happens at April 15th, 2023, which will start over again. But those two systems, the house system is the denderah, is the tropical system. And then the sidereal one is where we're at on the clock. So they're both equally important, just have to use them in the right way. And the settings you use is sidereal, lahiri, equal house. And the lahiri means, like everybody say, you don't know where 0 point Eris is, so you don't know where to align the clock. Well, you're looking in the wrong spot. You go look for spica, because spica is the wheat the grain of wheat that rides on the entrance into the underworld, into spirit world, into the right-hand side between Virgo and Libra. We represent that every night when we go to sleep. That's the point that we pass. So using that point right there, you line up your denderah beautiful. And the ancient Indians knew this, and the Islamic and the Egyptians and so on and so forth. So the Egyptian denderah is the story of the Bible, 100%.
That was interesting. In the news earlier, at the beginning of the show, they mentioned, I think it's a village that has been discovered in Egypt, which is of some significance. There's a lot of interesting things.
I need to know what that village is. I haven't heard about that one.
Yeah, I was trying to download Skype, so I didn't quite catch it. But also recently they moved all the pharaohs. They moved the statues of the pharaohs, the queens and kings, to a new museum. And they had people lined up on the streets with these satin cushions. It was all very ritualistic.
Right.
So I don't think that's a coincidence.
No, it's not. But I'd like to preface a couple things. When they said rulers back then, they weren't talking about people who ruled people. Rulers is a measurement device. It's a ruler, right? Yeah. And there's a lot of sayings about rulers and kings, right? Back then, a ruler was an astrologer because he just measured where everything was at in the sky and would just communicate with people on events that would happen that cleanses our body, that causes so-called pandemics, which are just diseases leaving our body, right? The true etymology of the word virus is the snake spinning its venom. In other words, your kundalini snake wants to rid of vibrations that aren't with your body. So when they look at all those kings and queens, those are us in different stages of our life.
Right.
That's Horus going through the different stages. So that's our walk path. The story of the Bible is Jesus that Jesus is you during the Piscean age and your venture during the Piscean age, right? Which leads us all to the fall of Babylon. The fall of Babylon is to lose control of your materialistic desires. So everybody has an internal Armageddon, eternal fall of Babylon. Everybody loses control because Spirit Mother's reeling us back in.
And Mama's back, as you said in the first show we did. So how has she progressed over the year? Give us an update.
Yeah. Okay. So what's beautiful is when you watch the astrology and all those beautiful personas in the sky, because those actual little lights in the sky, they're actual they're personalities, which we get our personalities from. So what's happened in the sky is so beautiful. In the last year, Juno, which is the queen of the heavens, which represents Mary Magdalene in the story of the Bible, she was over top of the whole chart where all the luminaries were the other side of the north and south node. That's the earthen mother looking after you and trying to get your attention. Well, now it's Hygiea and Vesta. Well, Hygiea is the glyph of the caduceus. She brings the cleanses. And it's Hygiea.
Cleansing.
Right, and she's in Cancer, which is our vibration, our aura, our magnetic field, the way we behave, the way that we personify our being. And then Vesta of the Vestal Virgins is in our heart, Leo. So that play has moved from Juno and then now to try to get us all, because this is the real 40 months of fasting, not 40 days. We've preserved this over the time, the different holiday seasons or rituals or what have you, for a cleansing purpose. So Mama is leaving all her soldiers there doing all this work with us. Hence why you'll hear the words, the seven scorpions of Isis. What that means is you have organs in your body. Those are vibrational organs, music machines that will cleanse. So all these different cleanses will happen throughout your body, and that's because they're trying to make you pure again. So that's, again, the snake spitting the venom. So she's coming back into our head because she's been cycling from Pisces to Eris to clean our corona chakra. And if anybody wants to look, we've predicted the Corona Chakra Cleanse in October of 2019, published a video. You can go see it. It was way before this pandemic came out. It's just a beautiful cleanse of our body. And so she's coming back into our head today, tomorrow. She's coming for a visit to see how we're doing with our mind, our spirituality. So when you see how all that plays out, it's been beautiful. Because this is her third time coming back into our head. So now, as you can see, people are standing up more. People are starting to wake up, going, hang on, wait a minute. And this is all by design for us to get our experience in the least amount of love for the last 2,000 years, called the Piscean Age, the Jesus Age. Horus going through the point where he has the least amount of mama influence. We were left alone while mommy and daddy went away for a weekend and made a mess out of the house. So for the last year, I could see a lot of things have been cleaning up. So you can see it, and people are becoming more spiritual. I mean, just go all over the internet. People are all having amazing moments in their life, amazing times where they're feeling more spiritual. They're seeing signs. They're getting epiphanies. They're getting images. So you see that big time.
Yeah. So an esoteric view of things. When you mentioned the Scorpions, it's interesting because we have a supermoon coming up on the 27th, which in traditional astrology is in Scorpio. How does that connect with what you've been saying?
They're all important, of course, right? Scorpio is right across from Taurus for a reason. Taurus is the home of Juno, Mary Magdalene. She's the one that has procreation, right? So it's manifest where we bring other bodies in here. So just so you know that the north and south node are in Scorpio, Taurus. So this whole thing is about our materialistic desires. We're gods in training. The glyph of God is the yin yang. G-O-D, the point in the middle is home, is spirit, right? The 13th point. So those two, the moon's north and south node being in Scorpio and Taurus, is very important. Juno comes back out of being underneath and joins Vesta and Hygiea. And so the earthen mother comes back out again. So all these, the supermoons and all that, they're all very important, because what they do is they're going to rock the bodies that have the charts that need to be cleansed, need to be purified. Right. Once you cleanse, all these energies become positive energies for you, and they enlighten you more and more and more. So spitting the poison from the snake is important. We need to release these feelings, these energies that will no longer serve us as we go into this more spiritual state of being. But that's the measure, is like they have on the denderah, is this scales of Libra, which is the weighing of the heart ceremony. Your heart must be as light as a feather. So as long as our heart is as light as a feather, no matter what, and understanding that every person is going through a cleanse, and no matter what you're faced with, you got to treat it with love.
What do you mean by light as a feather? Are you talking about releasing personal baggage, which I think a lot of people have been doing?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah?
Right. Yes, 100%. It's totally related to that. We have to come to realize, because it's proven personally by me and others, and then I watch others. Your personal baggage that you have to cleanse will be right in front of your face. Why does this keep happening to me? Why are all these people saying that to me? Everything that you see in your life, every moment of everything, every insect, every animal is giving you a message that will help you with identifying your personal baggage. What's in your chart shows you too. If there's anybody out there that wants to learn that, we can help. We do that. We always do everything for free. We don't charge. I mean, it's too beautiful to try to make pixels off of. So we help many people to understand what that is. It's very simple. So, but the signs are all there. You don't need astrology. The signs are in front of you every day.
And the pixel mongers are doing their best to distract us from this.
Well, they're just trying to hang on to they're just trying to hang like a squirrel, just trying to hang on to their nuts. But they got to realize that the squirrel doesn't plant a nut for him to go back and look for later. He'll do that if he's not successful, because if Mother Nature's not helping that grow, he's planting that seed so he can have a tree and live with abundance. The profit mongers will soon change because they will get their visit from the Mr. Past, Present, and Future. You know what I'm saying? The old story there, right? So yes. They will start using all those pixels to help bring Mother Nature back.
Right. Well, I think it's time for a bit more music. So let's listen to, by the way, apart from the reggae song at the beginning, all the tracks today are selected by Claudio. So
thank you very much.
Yeah. So let's hear the next bit of music, and then when we come back, we will talk a bit more about what you mean by the 40 days of 40 weeks of fasting, and kind of mentally and physically, what can people do to have a smooth transition?
Sounds great. Sounds awesome. Thank you.
Hey, you can do magic and some easy rock there. That track was actually used as a tribute to Hermione Granger, who plays the girl in Harry Potter.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
You're a wealth of knowledge.
Praising the feminine.
Which we all need to do more of.
Exactly. I was up in the mountains last week. Just got back a couple of days ago. And Austria is a beautiful country, and there's a lot of kind of spiritual portals, you know. And for me, it was all about being with Source and being in nature. And I was so happy to be able to do that again on my birthday as well.
So cool.
Yeah, but something that we've had quite extreme weather conditions here in Austria. So the beginning of my trip was sunny and the buds were blooming and the birds were chirping and it was all springtime. And then on Tuesday, I woke up with the windows completely covered by snow and the temperature had sunk, and I still went for a walk and there were literally snow dunes blowing and it was freezing. And then 2 days later, the spring was back. But it is one of the longest winters that I've experienced in this country. And then I've seen recently that a lot of volcanoes have been going off in various parts of the earth. What is the significance of this, in your opinion?
Okay, yeah. So we do know that using astrology, they did it before. You can predict major weather events. So we've been studying that for years now and getting so much more confirmation that it does work, which is kind of beautiful, right? So and that's how some profit mongers make money, right? They use, if I'm going to just do a quick aside, the billionaire in the 1920s, think about that, billionaire in the 1920s, what would that be worth today, right? J.P. Morgan said, millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. So if you knew that there's catastrophe, you can set up all kinds of companies and things to go after those things.
Right.
So, yeah, there's a whole bunch of books in the Vatican that probably were predictions and things like that, or at least the tools or the settings that we've figured out, which is really simple and beautiful at the same time, hence why there'll never be any pixels associated with it. But yeah, the volcanoes, you can look it up on Facebook. It's just research. We said, hey, people, we suspect that there's going to be a volcanic eruption along the 60 west, 120 east line around plus minus the April 15th date. Well, April the 12th, the St. Vincent volcano exploded. Now, there's volcanoes that have activity all over the world constantly, but if you go look, St. Vincent hasn't had much activity at all. So, and Juno, which brings out the diseases like shingles, any kind of eruption in your skin. Juno does those things. We've proven that. We've predicted. I've predicted my own dis-ease, not knowing what it was. Of course, Juno then presents itself in the sky as a winged woman to us. And then we noticed that we weren't using Juno in our medical astrology. And then once we did that, we understood that she was the cause of shingles. So we did many more charts. And again, it's just bringing those vibrations out of your body to cleanse you. So she also cleanses the body of the earth. And so Juno, looking back at all previous major eruptions, you can see Juno at play. So how can that kind of makes you think, well, wait a minute, how can you do all that? Well, you can start looking at the moon and the tides, and you know that there is an aspect associated with the moon. Obviously, the sun makes things grow. The moon makes things grow at nighttime. So yes, astrology is much more important than just the sun and the moon. All the lights in the sky, especially the ones you can't see, are much more powerful. And so the earth is getting a cleanse.
Yes. So all these volcanoes erupting, and of course we had an earthquake also in the Central European area a couple of weeks ago. So there are lots of things going on. So is it like the kind of magnetic? Is it Earth kicking back, basically?
Yeah, 100%. Once we're all settled, weather gets better. Because we create the vibration of the whole, right? So this cleanse is not happening just with these Adams and Eves. It's happening with every atom on the earth and in this beautiful cosmic egg we live in called the earth. So every insect, animal, they're all getting enlightened. So you'll see much more communications with every atom of your existence. So the earth is 100% just waking you up to become one again.
Yes.
Be much in love with everything. Right.
And of course, the animals are mirrors of us as well.
100%. Yes. Yes. We often see people that look like their dogs, right?
Totally.
And the characters.
Yeah.
And the Egyptians always had cats around them. Why? They're the female aspect. They're the spiritual aspect, where the dog is more material aspect of your mirror.
Yeah.
The cat tries to bring the spiritual mirror out in you and helps you see things. Another way of seeing signs is through the animals. They'll show you exactly. But just like the seagulls, mine, they don't want to behave that way. They're doing it intentionally to show us how we are behaving. We're not sharing. So they put a show in front of us, and how they fight for the food is because it's what we're doing.
Maybe. When I was in Liverpool, there were seagulls everywhere, and they're quite calm, the ones in Liverpool, and they're like tame little mini dogs. Yeah, they're not aggressive. They kind of sit there and you can almost pat them. And then if you go to Cornwall, you've got really aggressive, maybe because of all the kind of
the vibration
party. I don't know why, but in Cornwall they'll pass down to your fish and chips and steal your fish.
You just proved it yourself. This is the way it works, 100%. So nature will do the same thing. There will be no more tornadoes and hurricanes and eruptions once we settle down and we start being at one and be more peaceful and tranquil. And that takes a lot of inner work.
Yeah. But you believe that this time is coming and that by 2023 we'll all be there.
Yeah, I without sounding overly confident, and I don't like using that ego word, because the signs are written in the stars. It's written in the denderah zodiac. This exact time is written in the Bible.
Yeah.
Except that it's been mistranslated. The fall of Babylon is now. It's written in the denderah zodiac, which was put over 2,000 years ago, and that was left by us, for us, to remember as we come out of this blindfold, spin around, look for the piñata time when there's the least amount of love. So yeah, it's truly happening. The normal, it won't be the same normal. It won't be the same norm, because what we're being taught now is, okay, you got to see what it was like on your many rounds around the dying on the cross, as explained in the Bible and the denderah, that we are infinite, and Mother has come back to save her child, to save her son, right? So on April the 13th, April the 15th, 2023, you can grab an app, set the settings to sidereal equal house, Lahiri, and you will see, and go back in time every 203,813 days to the exact day she marks the calendar. That does 1/4 of an age, where she meets and rises with the sun in the east at 0 point Eris. Right, the true Easter, rising in the east. Eris, Aries, arise, they're all the same word. And if you look on the denderah, that is where the headless body gets a head. So this is where we come together all as one to regroup, and that marks the age of Aquarius. We're moving into the new age. So it's written in the stars. You can go look it up yourself. There's no guesswork here. It's a beautiful math. Look at the Islamic calendar. They're following the original Egyptian calendars, where the calendar is marked by this true Easter, which happens once every 558 years, which is 1/4 of a season, 1/4 of an age. So we've just been hanging on to these holy days because of the one that's coming. This celebration was just to remember of this one that's coming. So we get a new physical sun and a new metaphysical sun, which is you.
Yeah.
Hence the cleanse. And if you don't notice that the sun is brighter, I mean, you could, if you don't believe me, go look at the people that design the electronics for the sun. Because I have a friend in Toronto, Dave. He has a friend who's in the design aspect of the electronics that measure the sun for solar panels, whatever. The electronics aren't working. They call the association, the organization that tells people what the sun is doing. Well, the sun has changed its frequency. And well, that's why, because the mother, they bring a new sun. She meets with the sun, Eris, the mother, the Virgin Mary in the Bible. Mictecahuatl for the Indians, Freya, Persephone, Ereshkigal, Al-Barak for the Islamic. They all know these are all the stories in every culture. So Ramadan just started right around the celebration of the true Easter calendar. Don't forget, the prophet mongers changed the calendar. Whether they did it intentionally or whatever, the calendar has been changed. So you can't follow these days. So now we're hitting the piñata. The piñata's open. So the veil is lifting. We know who we are and what we've done.
Yeah. Claudio, we don't have much time left, so let's go straight on to the 42 spiritual laws. Would you like to go through them quickly for us?
I absolutely would. Just one moment here. I seem to have lost my screen. Yeah. So the 42 spiritual laws of Isis, Mayat, Mother, whatever. They're very positive. They're just a measure for yourself. I'll go through them really quickly. I honor virtue. I benefit with gratitude. I am peaceful. I respect the property of others. I affirm that all life is sacred. I give offerings that are genuine. I live in truth. I regard all altars with respect. I speak with sincerity. I consume only my fair share. I offer words of good intent. I relate in peace. I honor animals with reverence. I can be trusted. I care for the earth. I can go through them all if you like, but if you can look them up, make sure you find... Okay. I care for the earth. I keep my own counsel. I speak positively of others. I remain in balance with my emotions. I am trustful in my relationships. I hold purity in high esteem. I spread joy. I do the best I can. I communicate with compassion. I listen to opposing opinions. I create harmony. I invoke laughter. I am open to love in various forms. I am forgiving. I am kind. I am respectful. I am accepting. I follow my inner guidance. I converse with awareness. I do good. I give blessings. I keep the waters pure. I speak with good intent. I praise the goddess and the god. I am humble. I achieve with integrity. I advance through my own abilities. I embrace the all. So if you're good at these, your heart will be as light as a feather. Come judgment day, judgment season, with which we are upon.
And when you say the goddess and the god, do you mean source by that? Because for me,
well, we are goddesses and gods. Yeah. Yes, the source is Godhead, and we are goddesses and gods in training because we have the ability to create with our mind, right? I mean, when Michael Jordan puts that basketball in that net, he visualizes it before he takes the shot. He visualizes it going in and the crowd cheering before he even takes the shot. He is manifesting as a god creating. So we're here learning how to create. We just got the experience of what it's like without love. Now we gotta go on with our lesson of how you're gonna create with love.
Alchemy.
Right, exactly. So your ability to create is going to get more powerful. So be careful what you ask for, because with the wrong creations comes karmic attachments.
Yes.
So be very wise.
And it's not just what you say and what you do, it's also your thoughts. And I think that's where a lot of people fall down. Like, you really need to start catching yourself when your thoughts become negative and realize how much of an influence that has on your life as well.
100%. What I recommend to people, or we recommend to people, when I say I really mean we, because it's all us, is don't let any words leave your lips with a vibration that paints a picture that's not positive. Don't let any images come into your mind, because that clouds up your top chakra, your corona, and then it's just going to need to be cleansed again. Only let positive images in. That makes your body be the orb, the vibration, the inducer to induce love in others. Because if you're talking to people and you're creating a vibration that's not good, they will want to shy away. Notice I put the word not and a good word in front of it. Not positive, not good, instead of the opposite. So yeah. So if you practice that, you'll find it'll be so much better.
Yes. And, it's constant work every day, but the more you do it, the easier it gets, like with everything. So, Claudio, we've reached the end of the show. Doesn't time go quickly? Would you like would you like to give us an email or website where people can find out more about you? And then I'll write it in the diary as well.
Yeah, sure. You can go to Facebook or YouTube. It's just my name, Claudio Silvaggi. That's CLAUDIO where I share all the great works. I'm just a key collector. All right, this is our work. And or you can go to iyoutome.com. That's IYOUTOME, which means help me in many languages. The pronunciation, iyoutome. So IYOUTOME.com.
Brilliant. And if you go to that site, you can see some videos that Claudio's put up there, which can also help you understand the effect of the denderah and what he's been talking about today.
Awesome.
So have you got any parting words that you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Yeah, just know that the mother of all mothers is back. She loves you. Hold it, love it, talk to her. It's not a man in the sky, it's a female. So just know that mama's back and she loves her children, and just be positive and just look for signs.
Namaste. You've been listening to The Ice Cream Show with Claudio Silvaggi and Beata Pozitiva. Wishing everyone a great evening and all the best for the rest. Take care and be aware.